From the street to the stadium lights, every heartbeat chasing the night, running dreams in a fast lane blur.
Meta World Peace, or other name Ron Artest, the original name. From pulling down Paul Pierce's shorts, to the gulliness of throwing bows with fans at the Malice in the Palace, Artest has been up and down the dirty player spectrum. Sometimes we think he doesn't yet know his own strength. Before causing havoc in Detroit, Meta was arguably the best defender in the league, but it also put a halt to his career and he never was able to regain the same form. Here's a fun game. First, think of an adjective that describes world peace. Now say the sentence, world peace is underscore 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 dot. Your sentence was an oxymoron. Feel free to post in the comments for a laugh. Meta World Peace hardly even needs an explanation, does he? He does what Scottie Pippen did, only he does it with an element of meanness which borders at times on cruelty. The most recent example is his outrageous elbowing of James Harden. I've talked about the distinction between dirty, cheap and intense. World Peace is all three. He plays dirty and he plays cheap. He's been suspended 13 times for taking cheap shots. Certainly he's a crafty, wily defender who knows how to foul without getting caught, but he's cheap too. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was a member of two of the dirtiest teams in his NBA tenure, and by golly, he was a big part of the reason for their dirtiness. Just as Stockton was the archetype of today's dirty point guards, and Scottie Pippen was the archetype of today's dirty wings, Dennis Rodman was the archetype of today's dirty power forwards. Before Anderson Varejao, before Joakim Noah and before Kevin Garnett, there was Dennis Rodman, the original high-energy, high-intensity big man. If you take eras and rules into consideration, Rodman is the greatest rebounder in the history of the game. He averaged 13.1 rebounds per game over the course of his career, the most of any player in the three-point era. Dwight Howard, Kevin Love, Moses Malone and Charles Barkley all lag behind him. From 1991 to 1998 he averaged 16.1 boards a game, nearly 4 more than anyone else in the league. The next best was Shaquille O'Neal with 12.3. How does a player who is 6 feet 7 inches and 210 pounds do that? By working for position. Rodman was an absolute master of that, and a lot of that meant being dirty. How does a player who is 6 feet 7 inches and 210 pounds do that? By working for position. Rodman was an absolute master of that, and a lot of that meant being dirty. Elbows, feet, pushing and shoving, and so on. Pretty much anything short of biting was fair game to Rodman when it came to getting position for rebounds. He applied the same tough, physical mentality to defense. Rebounding and defense are the two reasons he's the lowest scoring player in the Hall of Fame, unless you count Mel Daniels, who only played 11 NBA games and is in there because of his ABA accomplishments. The Worm made a habit of getting under opponents' and officials' skin during his career. From kicking cameramen, to head-butting officials, and everything else in between, Rodman collected flagrant fouls like they were going out of style. The cameraman kick led to a $200,000 lawsuit, plus an 11-game suspension.
From the street to the stadium lights, every heartbeat chasing the night, running dreams in a fast lane blur. Every loss just a lesson learned. Sweat drips down but we want it more. Every court, every field, every floor. Clock hits 0 but we don't stop. Infinite motion, we rise to the top. No finish line, no final bell. Every step got a story to tell. If you fall down, you stand back up.
Bruce Bowen. He was everything that Ron Artest was or Scottie Pippen was, with one twist that can only be described as malicious. Bowen had a tendency to slip his foot under opponents' feet when they went up for a jump shot. When the players came down they would ruin ankles and knees. Such a move can devastate a player's career, and Bowen's habit resulted in several players, including Steve Francis and Vince Carter, getting injured. Even when it's not resulting in injuries, the fear of an injury can throw a player off his rhythm. Bowen, even without the move, was one of the great defenders in the league's history and didn't need to resort to the habit. That tendency, along with the same kind of great but dirty play that the other great defensive wings on here had, earned him the top spot on the list. Charles Barkley. Years played, 1985 to 2000. Team, Sixers, Suns, Rockets. Stats, 22.1 points per game, 11.7 rebounds per game. 3.9 assists per game, 1.5 steals per game, 3.1. Dirty highlights. Chuck was one of the best players in his day, and he was also one of the dirtiest. He loved himself a fist fight. Barkley also didn't hesitate to give a fan the business if they said the wrong thing to him. If you hit Charles, best believe he was swinging back. Hell, half the time he was the one that started the fight. Watch the linked clip above for proof. He was most likely arch-enemy of
Rodman with a push on Mahorn. Laimbeer follows with the ball, and then Barkley and Laimbeer. Barkley gets in the left. Laimbeer will come back, both benches empty. It went on for 5 minutes. The fans also got involved in it. It was an ugly situation. You can look for fines. I think the biggest thing to be concerned of for both of these teams is if anybody's going to be suspended for the first round of the playoffs. Both teams jawing at each other. The Pistons did not like the fact that the Sixers clinched the Atlantic Division on their home court. They tried to go to the locker room. Barkley went into the locker room and actually broke a toilet seat. He was so mad.
You know, they threw a lot of cheap shots down the stretch and tried to interrupt our celebration, but can't nothing take away from it.
I got hit first, so what he says is insignificant because he really doesn't, nobody really cares about him. He's a loser.
Bill Laimbeer. How bad was Bill Laimbeer? Let's put it this way. They made a video game titled, Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball. The game was a kind of a cross between Death Race 2000 and basketball. Violence was encouraged. Laimbeer was the baddest of the bad boys, and he offered no apologies for it. He just said he did what he had to in order to win. You can't argue with the results. He has 2 rings. If there was an elbow to be thrown, Laimbeer was only too glad to throw it. He didn't just play dirty, he was proud to play dirty. As the only white dude to start on the Pistons' Bad Boys squad of the 80s, Laimbeer used a combination of aggressive elbows, dirty play, and Oscar-worthy flops to become one of the league's most hated players. In 1991, his tactics even led Nintendo to develop Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball, a science fiction basketball game staged in the year 2030. All you need to know about the game is that there are no refs, there are no fouls, and the use of weapons is perfectly legal. A public relations dream come true. Laimbeer is relaxing and enjoying life. And have Mark Aguirre teammates fight in Portland. Bill Laimbeer talks about how the NBA has changed over the years. Bill Laimbeer talks about what it means to become second all-time in WNBA wins. In the single most physical era of basketball, he was the game's most physical player. Rick Mahorn. Mahorn was teammates with Barkley, Rodman and Bill Laimbeer. What a niche rugged physical teammates to have. Rick Mahorn was a member of the Pistons' Bad Boys squad and helped them win a championship in 1989 by using his 6 fouls. He did everything and anything to create contact in the paint, simply because he struggled to outjump everyone else. Just look at this picture, it tells you all you need to know about Mahorn and the era he played in. All I'm saying is once you get into the teens and you're still hurting people, you need to consider what you can change. If you don't, it's just dirty.
Every loss just a lesson learned. Sweat drips down but we want it